Ladies and gents and my nerds, what is up? The current day is Tuesday, December 3rd, 2013, and this is Day 9 Daily, I think number 600... Oh. Wow. Wow, that's... What a way to begin. It's the 657th Daily, allegedly, where we are in fact learning to be a better gamer. Ugh, as long as our camera eventually gets adjusted to the correct angle. Let me tell you what's going to happen in today's show. People are all upset about the mine because they're worried that the Widow mine is too weak. How do we win now? The Terrans say, like Kermit the Frog. We're going to take a look at the traditional biomine that many Terrans did, and then we're going to take a look at some very subtle moves that Liquid TaeJa does to be a winning Terran versus Zerger, even defeating StarTale Life 4-2 in the DreamHack Winter Championships, like this weekend. Now, I don't have the DreamHack Winter Championship replays. Both DreamHack and IEM and WCG haven't released their replays yet. So these games are actually, this game I should say, that we're going to be watching is from the Acer Team Story Cup, where Liquid went 5-0 against Quantic. And by that I mean Liquid TaeJa went 5-0 against Quantic. Hear, hear, cheer, cheers. That's some good water. I know people can be like, that's vodka, he's drinking alcohol. Well, let me tell you, if I drank that much vodka to start the show, I would be dead in like 20 minutes. Oh, yeah. The burn of LA tap water. Now that I've told you what we're going to be doing, I just need to note that people were talking about ramen in the chat. And right now, that's literally all that I can think about. Oof. Hopefully, we can get past it. Ugh. Hopefully nothing insane happens. Although I did do the most insane thing of my life. I watched His Girl Friday. My jaw was agape the whole time. It was a movie that was released in 1940, I think. And everyone talks like this. Hello, dear. It's good to have you here. Would you like to go get a sandwich? Perhaps a pastrami one with the cheese the way you like it. The whole thing is everyone talking to each other like that. And especially when they answer the phone, they're like, hello? What? Yes. No, I can't be there anytime soon. Wait, why? Who's going? I'll be there in 5. They talk that fast. They don't give any time for the person on the phone to answer. The whole movie long. And there's characters who you're not quite sure what their motivations are, and then they just jump out a window, and you're like, what? Oh. Dude, has anyone seen His Girl Friday? It is an insane movie. You have to see it with a friend. It's amazing. Ugh. Let's talk about Terran versus Zerg. To do this, I have a replay that will apparently cause an error when I press my video switcher button. I don't know why it does that, but that's fine. I'll let it do its thing. What about now? Oh, it's fixed. Great. Great. Perfect. Cool. It's a really good movie, by the way. It's pretty kick-ass. So here we have Jaedong versus Polt. This is from the WCS Season 2 finals. So, timeline-wise, this game is in... This game was on August 15th? August 16th? God, I hope that's right. Someone double check. This game is on August 15th. So, despite the fact that it's not, like... It's not ancient in terms of time. It's still pretty present day in terms of, you know, being able to examine it. But it's before the nerf of the Widow mine. This is probably at the peak of the biomine styles. So we're going to use Polt as an example to see what people were doing with biomine. We're going to see largely the same buildings in this game from Polt as we will in our upcoming game from TaeJa. But what's going to be different is some rather subtle moves with the bioforce, with positioning. It's very easy to look at this game, then the next game we'll see from TaeJa, and say, derp, those are the same things. But the biggest thing of all is I want you to be aware of how the push goes, how the rallies go, and little tidbits in the opening. So here, we're going to be looking at this opening from Pult. He's going to be going Reaper in this game. We're also going to be seeing a Reaper opening in the following game. Again, this is the older way, and we're going to see what the older way of going Biomine is, and then we're going to contrast that with TaeJa's newer way, his winning way. He is such a way gone well good winner. So the big thing that all Terrans do, what they did then and what they still do now, is use fast control units like a Reaper, like the Hellions, to secure a very early expansion that is oftentimes also used in conjunction with a third command center. Now, it's always very light control of space that's being gone for. A little bit of Hellions. I actually did a daily on this game a while back. What we're going to be seeing out of Pult is a Viking, just for some more harassment. And of course a third command center that I think goes here, I want to say. What you should be gleaning right now is that in the traditional ways that we see people go for Biomine or do the usual Terran play, it's pretty light on the stuff at the front and defense. Very, very light. A Viking is obviously going to help kill off overlords, such as this sneaky bastard hiding down there. But the more important thing to note is that this Viking sucks at defense at the front. It just sucks ass. The way that players are able to get away with getting everything but units is the mine. In the old paradigm. In the old way of thinking. The fact that mines can be built out of this reactor factory means that Pult really doesn't need units for a long time to defend his front. Now, why is this significant? Because a shitty but useful way right now to describe Biomine is I'm just going to do the bare minimum to stay alive, much like you would do the bare minimum in your second semester of high school. Oh, senior slide. I've been admitted to college, I'm invincible. That's what Terrans do in the opening game. And then, starting around 12 minutes and onward, that's when the Biomine is on. So, I want you to know that at the start we're getting by with the bare minimum. What is it that's killing us? It's not layer tech, because mutalisks are popping out at around like 12 minutes. So what's killing us? It's big Ling, Roach, Baneling busts in some form. Mines, in this older version, did a nice hefty splash damage. They actually deal 40 splash damage in the old version. Oh, that's point defense drone. They looked the same. Yeah, it deals 40 splash damage to the nearby units, which means that it is killing Lings and it is killing Banelings in the splash. We see the Zerg units. Look at the Baneling, 30 life. Look at the Lings, 35 life. Both of those are lower than 40, Joe. Come on, Lois. We have to meet Marty at the drinky to have ourselves a cigarette. God, that movie is still on the tip of my brain. So anyways, Terrans are allowed to get away with the bare minimum in the old pre-patch version because the mine splash damage was so big. All those early all-ins are going to be handily thwarted. Now, we're just going to mentally note when real units start getting built. And by that I mean like Marines and Marauders. And Medevacs. Actually, let's just say Marines, when Marine production begins. Because obviously we have some Marauders here. What do you know? Marauders and Mines, Joe.
Ready for dust-off.
There's the third command center. So, alright, look at these barracks starting. We're only going to register in our brains the time when all the barracks are out. Oh yeah, the double engineering bay. This is very common in the biomines. Pult is actually notoriously late on these. Most Terran players are getting these started like at 7 minutes. But still, I want you to sort of see what's going on. The mine count is at 4. churning those mines out. Look at how high priority the mines are in this. Very, very high priority. They're being built before Marines are really being built, Joe.
Your forces are under attack.
And we're going to do a brief pause. Right around now, it seems like a good time to stop a row. Okay. Let me stop again and say what we're doing, because this show is going to be surprisingly subtle. What we're doing is we're taking a look at the pre-Widowmine nerf Terran vs. Zerg. And we're seeing what its themes are in the early game, and then with the Marine mind control. And then we're going to contrast this with TaeJa's sexy, boner-inducing modern Terran vs. Zerg. So what we've achieved right now is we've seen that in the old style, we have very late barracks production. The Marine count is at 3. Only at 11 minutes do we actually see that these Mariners are coming out. In fact, oh my god, this is so significant, I'm going to bring up a notepad document to make sure we record it all. Early on, largely Widow mines for defense. Barracks, you know what? I gotta get the dashes in here. Barracks don't finish until 11 min. There we go. Notoriously early ups. So, we see that we're at 11 minutes. Here's the barracks swell. Obviously, our first barracks is going to be done a lot earlier than that. Nice. We're seeing that combat shield is still not done. That's pretty typical across the board. We're also seeing medevac production. Doesn't really kick into full swing of things until 11 minutes. The Polt. Old school style. Early on, later on, the push. What's going to be happening then? So all I've done is I've taken some notes. This is the Polt, the old school style. We see that early on, it's largely Widow mines for defense versus all-ins. The barrack swell doesn't finish up till late. Notoriously early up grades. I don't want you thinking that Terrans are able to jump high. An 11-minute medevac production.
Add-on complete.
Oh, look at these ops. Alright, so we've just achieved later on. We're now here. Now, you know, we're going to see some defenses get set up. There's some harassment going on. Don't really care too much about that. At this phase in the game, the Hellions are generally all gone. We don't really need to control that much space. And with Biomine, what you'll generally see is not a lot, maybe some little moves like this, kind of waltzing out into the map, the ways of old. But what happens is the push has a start time. The push begins and never ends at around 13 minutes. This is the old school way. We're going to see this in fast motion before our eyes right now. Let's take a look at the barracks. Do-do-do-do. All rally to our front. We're going to start to see these get poked up more and more and more. Here's the never-ending push. It's like the never-ending story, except you're the nothing in this circumstance. Here's the push beginning. There's even counterattacks going on here, which Polt cleans up. But for the most part, it's just rallied. You see the rally? There it is. The never-ending push. The instant Zerg fights it back, we just have more units rallied. And I guess the way that you would describe this thematically is that you have a couple of mines that are dealing some of the big hits, but the Marines are mainly the ones dealing the punishing damage. And the whole goal with the never-ending pushes is basically to blast as far in as you can, killing off a base. The never-ending push. The never-ending push. Now, I'm not going to talk about the positioning and tactics yet. I'm going to talk about those in a bit. Let's see, look at this. The Marine count's never really that high. It's just going and going. Oh, we snuck an expansion in there, and then suddenly level 3 attack finishes up. There's some big mine hits. Yeah, this has been going on for like 7 minutes. The never-ending push. The never-ending push. Okay, that's an. I don't even care anymore. This is where Sir Polt wins. Now I want to come back to around 13:30. No, goodness no. Let us stop a little earlier, perhaps at even 13. Boom. I'm good. So the push normally begins and then never ends. I want to take a look at some of the numbers here. The push begins and never ends at 13 minutes, but it begins with many mines. Why? Because we used largely Widow mines for defense early on. Not so many Marines. Okay, and later on in the push, this is what I want you to note. Things stay and fight. No medevac pickups. Rarely medevac pickups. That's an emergency maneuver when the medevac pickups occur. Big spreads of Marines. Super small skirmishes. This is the big theme of the battles. I'll even put an enter as to highlight them. Oh my god, that's not enough. Let's put asterisks. I want you to be looking at all these things as we watch Polt's push, as we watch the traditional old school style. Now, I'll say the reason a lot of this worked is that we want to maximize the value out of our mines. Like, wow, we had 11. I think we might even have more than that when the push begins. So here comes everything. We got like 34 Marines. I want you to remember this, 34 Marines at around 13 or 14 minutes. So we're willing to dart forward, but we're trying to get our mines in position in the old style. This doesn't really work that well anymore because the mines don't really deal enough splash damage to be considerable in these big spread out packs. Look at the spread. Pre-spread out everything. Even these guys at the back kind of hanging out. And we can see some of the reasons why these mines work well against these small spread out clusters. It's because the splash is so big. There we see kind of a huge collision, huge collision. The big play that we see Terran players do in the olden times is retreat back over the mines to let the mines really deal the damage. But look at these spreads. Look at how few Marines and Marauders are in these packs. Whole thing gets totally destroyed. This is normally the time when players would consider doing medevac pickups. But still, look, small skirmishes, and it's all like, God, I hope these Widow mines deal damage. And they do. There was one hit, you got the chance to see all the little XP explosions happen upward. And the goal, and here's the big build-up. Here's the biggest build-up to part 1. The old goal was to be so aggressive and to whittle the Zerg down to such small numbers that it would be something like 16 Marines versus just Mutalisks and a couple of Lings. It was to have the edge in small skirmishes. Here's an example of that just happened. In these small numbers, after everything has been whittled down and whittled away, and especially the Banelings are all gone, we see that it's tiny numbers, and look what's going to happen. One Muta goes down, maybe even 2. That's the edge that we're shooting for. The fact that Marines murder Zerg units when they're upgraded with medevacs and the numbers are tiny. So again, we see this is about as clustered as Pult's ever going to be. But let's continue to see the themes of old. Look at these big spreads. Huge spread, pre-spread. Oh, there's a little cluster. Now, there is an opportunity to, like, dart up here, but look at the way that Pult's going to manage the situation. First, he's going to get his mines up in position. I mean, he's dealing with some crap here, but whatever. Come on, Pult. Just deal with it. Small packs of units moving forward. Most of the Marines are actually at the back, because the whole goal is to maximize the amount of damage that mines do.
Is under attack.
This is the old way. This is the way that don't work no more. Even when all these units die, all the Marines die, that's fine. Because Pult now has to deal with a small number of Lings, a small number of Mutalisks, versus only Marines. This is the strength of the old style, keep in mind. I know I'm being Dr. Redundant here, but my god, you totally don't get it unless I repeat myself. Look at the spreads! Tons of spreading, small numbers. The force constantly rallied. Constant rally. Okay, we have our notes. Why have we established this? Well, mines do significantly less damage now. Smaller, full radius of damage. It's 40 for the close ones, which will kill Lings and Banelings, but then it goes 20-10 as you get farther out. So it will hurt some units, but won't really kill. This also means, however, that it's less friendly fire to our stuff. I'm sure many of you will remember the 4GG versus Stefano game from WCS, where 4GG loaded up all his units, and a mine went off and killed like 6 full medevacs. Ooh, yeah. Mines, the counter to Terran in Zergy vs. Terran. God, those mines were juicy. So, this is what we're going to see out of TaeJa. Virtually the same look if you're watching the game very fast in the opening. But we're going to see mines are not used in the opening game to let TaeJa stay alive. We're also going to see that it's not one big push that's never ending and constantly rallied for TaeJa. Instead, it's surgical strikes. We're even going to paradoxically see that TaeJa keeps his army clustered together as opposed to spread apart. Everything is going to be leveraged by that speed boost from the medevacs. We're still going to see biomine. We're still going to see some similarities in the openings, but it's these subtle yet powerfully different uses of the Marine Marauder medevac army that is going to help TaeJa win. So when we come back, we're going to begin looking at TaeJa and really get why he's a genius. Bam! The stage has been set. Oh, an intro suitable for the Shakespeare of StarCraft. Yes, Liquid TaeJa sings to my heart. Music!